And in the bottom left-hand side here of Everdream, he is playing for Team Wardy, representing the man himself in chat. He is the blue Protoss player from Russia. It's Rail.
And his opponent in the top right-hand side in the red, representing Cascade Gaming in Russia. It is SKillous.
SKillous, I believe, 18 years old. He's like ridiculously young. Let me just double check that in case I am wrong. This is his. He's 19. Oh, I just turned. It was his birthday recently.
Oh, congratulations, buddy.
Yeah. This is his second match of the tournament. He lost his first one 2-0 to Seoul, which you didn't feel was a surprise. I felt was maybe a little surprise, but not a massive surprise. So we will keep an eye on this. And we do have a PvP. Rail, I imagine, will proxy Robo. That's my guess. He's a very tricky player, and aggression will be the name on the card, I believe, for Rail.
Yeah, you're probably correct there. Fun fact, SKillous had his 19th birthday during one of my tournaments. He was scheduled to play, and he messaged me and said, "Hey, Creighton, can I play on a different day, please? This day is my 19th birthday." And I was like, "Oh, man, I can't make you play StarCraft on your birthday. Get out of there. Go get drunk. Have some fun, buddy." So it was just a couple months, last month, I think. Yeah, I was a very young player. And look at this, a very tricksy player also, dropping that forward pylon. Now, he's going to sneak a probe into the main base, and he should get this old school Brood War probe around, hopefully, to see the sort of pseudo-hidden pylon in the far corner of Rail space. And I think he should see it if he does a proper scout. Now, if he tries to be cute and just stop mining time for some of these probes, he might not get it.
Yeah, right now, I'm starting to think SKillous probably won't see it. He's going to see what would be the normal third probe timing, and believe that Rail most likely is proxying, because he just isn't going to scout. He sees that there was one pylon. If you're playing against Rail, you probably anticipate, like I did, that he will proxy. So I think SKillous is going to prepare for that. He is proxy roboing himself, but actually, right now, it looks like Rail's just going to be playing for an expansion build.
Yeah, I think he is, and that could be a little bit dangerous. Oh, he's going to see it, he's going to see it, he's going to see it. Nice. Knows that he's not proxied now, and that should give SKillous a sigh of relief so he can move out with this proxy of his own with much less fear in his heart.
Stargate coming in right now from Rail. I'm interested, did Rail scout? No.
Nothing. No idea what's going on. Didn't check the main base of SKillous. Didn't check anything in the middle of the map either. And SKillous first immortal coming down right now.
Yeah, this is a little bit scary. Finally, the first scout will come out for the Russian player. He is going to see a couple of stalkers immediately. Is he going to fly over? No, he's not. He's just going to miss out here on seeing that robo as he takes the quick path straight into his opponent's main. You'll see that was just missed. First couple of stalkers coming in, just going to pressure the natural. If you can kill the sentry here, you always appreciate that. And we should see Phoenix production begin immediately. Oracle, oh, that's not what you want, mate.
Ooh, Phoenix would be a much better play here. Oracle, of course, can be a little bit useful against the Immortal, but of course the Stalkers can focus fire it down quite quickly, and the Immortal is, pardon me, the Archon is so, oh my gosh, let me try again. The Oracle is so flimsy that 4 or 5 Stalkers can take it out in just 1 or 2 volleys. Already, Rail is getting his natural pick down bit by bit here, and I'm a bit worried for him as he's trying to get some more warp gates finished up so we can get some more ground army down quite soon.
Yeah, 2 batteries on the way here right now for the Protoss player in the blue. This is okay. He's getting a Void Ray as well, which I don't hate as terms of a defense. Now, SKillous needs to make a decision whether he's going to go balls to the wall and just go for the kill, or whether he's going to go, okay, I've got to head with this by forcing all of these extra shield batteries, etc. And now I'm backing off. Force field is good. That's a couple of units that will take some damage here. What first Stalker does go down. Prism will be able to finally come in and save it, though. And the Immortal doing some damage. We have 1 Stalker at home. As a Stasis Ward, this is a big Stasis Ward. That's so much mining for so long.
Beautiful Stasis Ward. Probably the best option that Rail had at that point, because he knows that the Oracle can only kill a few probes before it gets taken out. I like the Void Ray change up from Rail here. Second Void Ray now on the way. Of course, the Void Ray going to be able to put down both the Immortals and that Warp Prism. But is it going to be enough here? I think Void Ray is the right choice, but is he going to have enough gas in the tank to defend this attack, or will these Immortals just absolutely roll him over?
SKillous building up some money. I wouldn't be surprised to see an expansion come out of him in the not too distant future. Work account, he is behind, but if you can kill a couple of gateways and things like that, he's still not, you know, he's not ruined. The Void Rays are annoying. Of course, the second one is a second one is now arriving. The third one already in production. Not expanding. Instead, SKillous is going to throw down a Twilight Council and continue his aggression by possibly picking up Blink as a follow-up.
Definitely, and just as importantly as these gateways going down, with every gateway that drops, he's going to have more access into the main base, meaning he's going to be able to have a wider area of attack. Those Immortals going to be a little bit more effective. Where is that Oracle? The Oracle's gone down, actually, it looks like. Was picked off on the other side of the map, so no more Oracle for Rail. SKillous must have picked that off with one of his Stalkers back home. Another Sentry, Stasis Ward went down to stop some of these probes. So that's a little frustrating for SKillous, whose income is way behind his opponent right now, but the attack continues.
Oh, 2 Immortals. The one thing I've always been impressed with SKillous is his Immortal dancing. In and out of the prism, he's very, very good at it. But Rail is still up there in army supply, still has those 2 extra workers, and very soon, with 4 Void Rays, he's going to break the contain. Oh my god, there's a Dark Shrine on the way for SKillous.
There absolutely is. Unscouted, of course, by Rail because he has nothing outside the map right now. Void Rays could try and fly across and do some damage, but he needs these back home for defense. He's really pinned right now, and I love that Rail has him pinned, and Rail's going to drop a natural expansion behind this. Pardon me, SKillous is going to drop a natural behind this. Rail trapped in his main base, and yeah, there we go. He's going to try and move those Void Rays across and try and cause consternation on the other side of the map. But with that, SKillous can move straight into the main base right now. Doesn't want to get force fielded down. And look at that, aggressively dropping the Immortals forward.
Yeah, this is nice. Trying to get one of those pylons. The Super Battery coming out. Just like to pull back a little bit. Yeah, that's exactly what you want to do. Or the Void Rays are looking for a flank. There's really not many Stalkers here. Stalkers and Sentries alone are not going to be enough to deal with 4 Void Rays. They're going to start tearing through this. And the control here by Rail, very good. I think Rail is going to break his opponent. Right now, SKillous has put all his eggs into the Dark Shrine basket. There are a few Stalkers coming to reinforce. The 2 Stalkers now is only all that's left, and this is not enough. If they maybe kill 1 Void Ray, maybe. No, they do not. And right now, SKillous is in so much trouble. The supply tells the entire story. DTs are going to have to make a miracle happen. There is no detection. Oh, there's an Observer on the way.
Observer on the way. Beautiful from Rail here. This is the point. Once you win a fight like that, immediately what happens in your brain is you start thinking as a pro player, okay, what could I possibly lose to? What could I, how could I screw this up? And the answer immediately for everyone who's playing a Protoss player is always Dark Shrine. Now, SKillous should have seen the Oracle coming out, or the Observer coming out for Rail here, so Rail should, he should be aware that DTs won't be as effective, and we haven't seen him warp any DTs in yet, and I think he knows. Robo's down, Observer, a very real possibility here.
SKillous is going to try and play this out from behind, but right now Rail is moving across the map, and he's certainly going to find some damage. There is no answer to the Void Rays. There's none. Archons are going to be the answer.
And he's got one on the way. But yeah.
Yeah, I just don't think it's enough. 3 batteries, if they complete, could be good, but the Void Ray can just go into the main. They can pick off pylons, they can pick off gateway, shield batteries, absolutely anything. We can see Rail is really moving out now. He's got everything coming. It's going to be a very difficult hold here. If SKillous holds, he'll be okay. His work count is as good. He has a natural. His tech is awesome because he does have a Robo, he does have a Twilight Council, and Void Ray scales so awfully into the mid and late game. Because this isn't 4v4.
I don't think so, man.
Going in Guardian Shield.
Yeah, immediately Guardian Shield goes down. We see the prismatic alignment to take down those Archons and Immortals very quickly. Shield Battery overcharge from SKillous, and that's going to last for quite a while, but the Void Rays can actually outpower that Shield Battery overcharge. And wow, SKillous is going to hold for just a minute here, but Rail just has so much. These Void Rays adding so much DPS, and as soon as that battery overcharge is over, more Adepts coming in. The army supply has evened up a bit, and SKillous is going to hold, I think. I don't know, man. Robo Bay on the way for Rail. This is still anybody's game, but SKillous still behind.
SKillous is losing workers to something in the main right now. I think, was it another Oracle?
Adepts.
Oh, it's
Adepts in the main.
6 workers is very, very big. Rail will be happy with that, and he's going to fall back. That's exactly what he should do here. Now, that fight was very close for a minute, but the battery overcharge made the Archon immortal, and that meant Void Rays took damage. How many went down in total?
Just the
3
one.
3 Void Rays died in that fight.
Wait, what? 3 Void Rays? Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, so we can see now in terms of resources lost, Rail has lost considerably more. Not considerably, but he's lost some more. Sure, a couple of Immortals died and a lot of Stalkers died, a few Sentries, but I think it was very, very good for SKillous until he lost those 5 workers. And that really changed it. And now we're going to see at least 1 more go down here.
He's targeting down the Adepts. He's not focusing. Right now, SKillous is just moving across the map, though, with a big fight. And he wants to, I think, take the fight to his opponent here. Shield Battery overcharge, again, ready to go for Rail. He's got that Shield Battery down at the natural. Void Rays are here, only 2. What was that, Grant?
He has no army.
Yeah, there's very little on the ground right now. Precious little on the ground right now. The Archons, though, taking a lot of fire. SKillous trying to retreat here, but Rail getting some good Parthian shots as he goes back. That's going to give a slight advantage into this match. But the Void, oh man, 1 Void Ray does go down there. Pushed back. The Shield Battery overcharge has been used. Yeah, has been used,
Yep.
and now it's already been used up. There's a stasis ward here to try and catch SKillous, but SKillous knows about it. He's got that Adept forward. The Adept sets off the stasis ward, and now the Archon's going to push forward. Can SKillous really pull this back? Disruptor shot! Not going to get too much there, and the Disruptor now in the line of fire.
And if I'm SKillous right now, I'm taking these Adepts and I'm shading up into the main, and that's exactly what we're going to see. He's working away down here in the natural, but the Archons and the Stalkers are enough to push this back. As we said, no overcharge. The Adepts disappear up into the main, and watch that probe count go down, 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 as they do start to pick off so many of these workers. Sure, there's a Disruptor here. Hey, but they're just going to stand on top. Oh no, they're going to split. Okay, I'd have just stood on top of the workers. Look at the worker count go down. SKillous has turned this game from the jaws of defeat into the grasp of victory, as now it's starting to look very scary. Another Disruptor. Is that second Disruptor here? No, it's still the first one. Comes back down to try and help. But SKillous has done so much damage in the main.
It's phenomenal.
22 workers.
The forward shield battery is what's... I'm loving it here. He's going to dodge that last Disruptor shot. 2 more Stalkers go down. The Archon's pushed away. The Archon will go down. Finally, Rail will break this, and SKillous way behind on army supply now. Significantly behind on army supply. But he's ahead on workers. But man, I'm going to pull up the income graph here, Grant, and just take a look at how many times this game has swung wildly back and forth. This was Rail's game to lose. It was SKillous's game to lose. It was Rail's game to lose. And now, it could be SKillous's game to lose yet again.
Yeah, right now, I would say we look at the supply and it is deceiving because the worker count is huge. And with 2 more gateways finished, Rail is trying to reproduce workers, but he didn't move across the map to counterattack after he took such a convincing army victory. And that means the worker count is, and the economy SKillous is going to build up will be huge. Blink very close here for SKillous as well. That'll be the first upgrade in the game.
Wow.
And that's a big upgrade against the army.
Yeah, definitely. Blink Stalker's terrifying underneath Void Rays on top of Immortals with no Warp Prism here for Rail. He's not going to be able to juggle... Oh, wait, where's his Warp Prism? Oh, his Warp Prism in the main base. Trying to go for a double Disruptor drop, but I don't know if that's going to get any damage done. If this gets spotted, it's going to be dangerous, but also, that's a lot of army supply for Rail that's not currently part of this fight. SKillous moving across with these Stalkers that do have Blink now. And they should be able to get on top of some of these units.
Yeah, they're going to most likely... Okay, they didn't go for it. I thought they may blink in and just pop a Void Ray instantly. But this drop coming in over onto the east is starting to get a little bit scary. Because if these 2 Disruptors... Okay, it has been seen. This Warp Prism now seen. Is there going to be a recall? I think that's what needs to be done here. Oh my god, this is going to do so much damage.
Disruptor drop as SKillous moves in. He's not paying attention here. 11 probes
workers.
immediately exploding there. The worker count now in favor of Rail. A back and forth and back game here, but there's the aggressive blink from SKillous getting underneath here. Shield battery overcharge from Rail, but the Immortal is going to go down despite the shield battery overcharge. Void Ray's still alive. A couple more warp-ins from Rail, but SKillous is going to get pushed away. Rail holds there. Shield battery overcharge doing so much for him.
How has this game been so back and forth? Every player has it in the grasp, and then they just end up throwing it away, it feels like. Some great moves. That Disruptor drop was incredible, killing the probes. And if we were to take a look at probes killed in this game, 28 killed for SKillous, 18 killed for Rail. And that number's just going to keep growing, because once again, SKillous has just killed another 7.
Those Disruptors are, I think, the time of their life right now, feasting on the corpses of probes. And Rail is adding on some more Immortals to this fight as well. We see the Disruptor drop coming back into the main, and Rail still not paying a ton of attention. A little bit late on the pull there. 1 more probe goes down. 2 or 3 more probes going to pop here. 3 total. Disruptor's still alive, though, and SKillous cannot afford to warp anything back home to defend against this. Rail's army looking terrifying now. The Immortals out in Moss here. On Moss. The Stalkers forward, going to force a blink away from Rail here. The big difference is that, of course, Rail doesn't have blink, and SKillous does, but that's a very small... Oh, God, a very small consolation.
Oh, okay, a nice split there. I did manage to save them. Yeah, I completely agree, but the Archons now are a big, big threat. We're going to see a blink into the main here from SKillous. Nice shift range in there to try and find some damage, but these Immortals, 3 Immortals and a Void Ray. We're going to see a Super Battery come down as well, just to make sure the Observer will go down. That's nice, because that's now stopping any blinks into the main.
Second Observer kill for Rail, by the way.
Yeah, he's doing a great job. Rail, I cannot believe this game. I genuinely thought it was like way, way over earlier on, and then I thought it was over the other way, and then the other way, and now the other way. Disruptor drop once again. Prism did go down, but the recall comes in, saving both Disruptors, making this completely okay. For the damage they did, you can lose a Prism.
And Rail's on double Robo, right? So it's not going to be that much of a commitment to slip in 1 Warp Prism behind this. We can see SKillous going for the Templar Archives, trying to get some, I guess Storm is his next play. He's already got the DTs in case he wants Archons. But this game is getting worse and worse for him now. The army supply, the worker count roughly even though SKillous is on a 3rd base and Rail's still just on 2.
Yeah, to disagree, I think he is going for Archons, but with the High Templars instead, because look at his income. He has no minerals. He has none. Zilch.
That's fair.
He has a good amount of gas. He has almost four Archons, I had to do the math then, worth of gas, and 4 Archons is a lot. For 200 minerals, you'll take that. But I just don't know if it's going to be enough. Look at the supply, Creighton. It's
Terrible.
just so heavily in favor of Rail right now, and Rail is moving out. He has so many Immortals. He has a Void Ray just for the swag factor. We are going to see a bit of a counter-attack.
Immortal going to get caught here, but it's a nice little pickup for SKillous, but Rail bringing his army all the way back. I think SKillous needs to get in the main base, get a little bit of damage done, and try and recall out of here. He certainly can't commit, or blink out, I guess. He can just blink right out. Yeah, he'll be fine. But he certainly can't commit with these Stalkers.
Damage being done at the other side of the map once again. It did look like they're just. Is this another double disruptor drop? It just keeps coming.
It's the same one.
You're just like, yeah. But the Prism died, yeah, so it's the same disruptors, but he remade the Prism to keep the drop going.
Yep.
Which is, I just love it. I thought maybe he was going to keep the disruptors at home as a defensive tool, but no, that's not going to be the case. And now we see this disruptor drop coming back in. Doesn't manage to get a fire, but forces the pro pool. That's cute. Now it goes into the main.
Oh god! Oh god! Oh god! Oh, Protoss players, avert your eyes. Dear Lord, 17 kills with those 2 disruptors, and I mean, SKillous is just on a wing and a prayer right now.
Yeah, SKillous at this point, I think he may be SOL, and that's a shit out of luck, because he is... Oh, I mean, the work count isn't actually that bad. But the army supply, on the other hand, is... Disruptors cannot hit themselves with those disruptor shots, luckily for them.
Wow, yeah. He will get cleaned up
We'll
here.
go
Third
down.
base going down for Rail. SKillous trying to pressure a little bit. He's going to be forced to do some fancy blink micro away here. But yeah, as we said, SKillous on 3 bases, which is great, but he is just continuing to hemorrhage units left and right. Hemorrhage probes, notably. Look at that probe lost count. 53 probes going down this game for SKillous. Rail has been all over those disruptor drops.
No, I guess the positive thing here is that Rail is actually still down in workers somehow. Despite SKillous losing 53 of them, he still has 6 more. That's crazy.
Yeah, SKillous has been on 3 bases for a while now. And he's been really cranking into the probes. But yeah, the big difference we're going to see is the army supply. And more importantly, the army supply. If you look at that army composition, right now the army comp is looking a little healthier for SKillous. He does have 2 Archons mixed in. But Rail has, 3 Immortals, plenty of Sentries. 2 Colossus now on the map for Rail. A couple of Phoenix as well. He's got a little bit of everything this game that he's just been cranking out little by little.
And really efficiently, if we look at this point, both of them are mined with 1 base, because the naturals will be very, very close to mined out. You can see that, yeah, 8 workers, it's just nothing. So the third is only the base is saturated. The mains have run out, they are dry. The third base there for SKillous oversaturated, and we do have a bit of a push coming right now, but with Colossus, with Phoenix, Rail has every unit that you can possibly get as a Protoss, including a Void Ray.
Both players realizing this is probably going to go to the mid to long game at least. It's going to be a very slow bleed out for SKillous, so both players dropping that Forge to make sure they don't fall behind on upgrades, which would certainly be a way that SKillous can come back into this if Rail had forgotten about upgrades completely. +2 ground armor, or +2 ground army for SKillous would be terrifying, no matter what Rail's composition looks like. But Rail staying on top of the Forges as well. His Forge actually going to be finished up just about now, and he should start +1 right away.
Yeah, that's going to be the case. I mean, I just can't see any way. If we look at the army compositions right now, SKillous has an Immortal, 2 Archons, and 11 Stalkers. 5 Immortals, 3 Archons, 2 Colossus, 7 Stalkers, a Void Ray, Phoenix, Sentries,
and a partridge in a pear
army,
tree.
Massive, a partridge in a pear tree, and a fireman's hat.
Just for good measure.
Just for good measure, yeah.
I like how good a Protoss looks in a fireman's hat. Depth's into the main, but they're not going to get anything done. The Phoenix is going to pick him up here. The Warp Prism from SKillous not really having the effect it was hoping to on the game. And man, these Stalkers are very brave or very stupid. The line between the two is so thin in a Protoss game like this.
Guardian Shield popped here by Rail. Unfortunately, won't get much use out of it, but it's just energy. It's not costing him nothing. Lots of Zealots coming in. I don't hate the look of these Brood War Zealots. I mean, in this game, they're not going to do much, but I just don't hate the look of them. Because there are so many Colossus, there are so many Archons already on the field. As we said, 1-1, it's going to be very similar times with both of our players. We're not going to have much in the way of differential there.
Look at the top left corner of the map, Grant. Look at the top left corner of the map. SKillous, you cheeky boy.
SKillous has been watching Rotterdam streams.
Clearly.
But wait, I mean, I like this. Rail has played so far back this game, despite having such a much stronger army. It's mainly being SKillous that's on the offense. Finally, Rail's going to move out of his natural and third area into the middle of the map. There, he's all scouting. Look at that army.
Yeah,
That's like a late game army.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're 20 minutes into this game now. It feels like it's been about 10 with as back and forth as it's been.
Yeah.
But for the last 5 minutes or so, I think it's very clear, if we look at the income graph only, Rail has been in control, even though the income graph looks like SKillous has been in control. A little surprised that SKillous' third base is so much more efficient than Rail's has so much earlier, but Rail spent the time before that just building up this terrifying army, and here we go. The final fight looks like it's going to happen. Phoenix picking up those Immortals, the Immortals not adding anything to the fight. All three Colossus still in the back, and with the Archons up front, it's going to be very difficult for Rail to pull out of it, or for SKillous to pull out of this. Rail with twice the army supply. GG goes down, and Rail is going to grab game number 1.
Game went a lot longer than it needed to. Just taking a look at the graphs, specifically in terms of resource collection. Okay, so it started, Rail picked up a lead, then he lost it, then he kind of found it, then he lost it, then he found it, then he lost it, and then at the end he became even again. It was that many, that's not an exaggeration, of peaks and things like that, peaks and drops even in the resources. So very back and forth game. The most back and forth game I've seen in many, many years, I'd go as far as to say.
Yeah.
And now we move on to Eternal Empire.
And it wasn't back and forth like, oh, little blips here and there, you know, 1 or 2 probes. It was a massive swing. Oh, SKillous has this game won. And then another massive swing where Rail held incredibly. So, yeah, I'm excited to see game 2. I think these guys very evenly matched today. And this has been a fabulous series as we get into game 2 on Eternal Empire LE. Grant, is this going to favor the Protoss player or the Protoss player?
I think the Protoss player will be happy, but the Protoss player on the other side isn't going to be too mad.
Yeah. Good analysis.
I mean, yeah, thank you. I try really hard to make it up. Players are seemingly ready. SKillous is ready. Rail is ready. And we are getting into our countdown. 10, 9, 8. We're getting into game 2. Creighton, thank you for joining me. Everyone that's here as well, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate you. Send a tweet. Tell your friends. Tell your nan. My dad's watching. So, you know, get your dad to watch. Maybe he'll have some fun.
My dad doesn't know how to work his computer, much less Twitch, much less find me on Twitch. I could send him the link, and he would be like, something didn't work. The link you sent me was busted. I'll watch some other time. And even if he did, he would have no idea what was happening.
Mine doesn't either.
But he tries, at least.
He does try. He's a good egg.
What a good bro.
No.
So, Rail taking game number 1. And we're hopping in now to game number 2 on Eternal Empire LE. Grant.
And in the bottom left-hand side. I got ya.
Yes.
He is the blue Protoss player. Let's swap mine around. Representing Cascade Gaming. It's SKillous.
And his opponent at the top right-hand side in the red, representing Team Wardy TV. It is our red Protoss player, Rail. Red for Rail. A fantastic game number 1, and game number 2 hopefully going to be just as exciting. Looks like standard opening so far. What's the over-under on a proxy here, Grant?
I would say right now, I would be like 5-1 on a proxy happening. I'm not taking a bet with anyone in chat because I don't want to lose any money. But I just think the odds are very high. Now we do see probes moving out here, checking that there's nothing going on in the natural. Rail actually, he is moving out this time. So Rail doesn't scout, right? He didn't scout in game 1. Is he going to scout this game? I don't know. I think maybe he may be looking for something proxy.
Sneaky, sneaky. Let's see what this probe pathing looks like. SKillous sending his probe out as well down the south side. Rail in the middle of the map right now. And yeah, he's definitely not just going for a scout. The probe's going to high-five each other. Oh, he might just be going for a scout, actually. The probe's going to high-five each other in the middle of the map. And yeah, this doesn't look too suspicious at all.
No, so both players have thrown down their cybernetics cores, and there are pylons going down in the main bases of both. So no proxies. I'm really glad I didn't take the bet, because it is going to be standard. Now, the first thing that we always say is the big differential in a game of StarCraft, when it's Protoss versus Protoss, is what units are coming out of these gateways as the cybernetics core finishes. I'm guessing Adepts all around. It is a guessing game. Adepts, Adept.
Oh, half right, Grant. Half right. Very different openers, though, which is really great because that means we're going to see a match that's not just decided on like big disruptor hits or early game pressure. We're going to see a match that's actually decided by how well these players can control their chosen army and how well they can analyze what they're up against. So a couple Stalkers coming out for SKillous indicates it's probably going to be a Twilight opener. Maybe Blink could go into Glaives from here. But the Adepts on the other side from Rail. Are you seeing Stargate again? Outer Rail?
No, I think he'll mix it up. I think we will see one go Twilight, one go Robo, but I haven't made my mind up as to which will be which yet.
I think you're more likely to be
quite
correct now.
possibly SKillous will throw down a Robo.
Interesting. I think SKillous was making 2 sentry there and then canceled one and made it a Stalker instead. So 3 Stalker, 1 sentry for 2 Adept, 2 sentry, but both players defensively playing. And Natural's down now for both players. And look at that. Correct again, Grant.
No, I said SKillous was going to make a Robo. But we'll pretend I said that Rail was going to make a Robo. That works.
He could still make a Robo.
He could still make a Robo. He's not throwing down any tech yet, and the later it gets, I think the more likely we are to see a Robo. Oh, Twilight.
A good try, Grant. A good try all around, but that's okay. These Protoss openers are very finicky, and unless you play them every single day and know where every single probe is, which is hard to do as an observer for 2 players at the same time, it's hard to tell. So we got a Robo down from Rail. SKillous, though, opening Twilight Council. Ooh, Rail getting in here. SKillous making a big mistake. Gonna force a recall down here. 2 probes down, 3 probes down. The Stalker's pulled back, but how many probes are gonna be down before these Adepts are killed off?
6.
An excellent choice. 5, 6,
7.
7. Oh, nope, 6. You were right. 6. You were right the first time. Oh my god.
Oh my god. Creighton.
Oh, SKillous. SKillous, you sneaky bugger. Look at this. The Immortal going down to the Natural right now. The entire ground army down to the Natural as well. Adepts coming in, and luckily Rail sees it in good time, but SKillous gonna get in here. And how many probes are gonna get on this time?
6.
Also 6.
I haven't seen this in a professional game in many years. Maybe 7. Maybe 6.
Still 6, and the probe is there, and there he finally sees it, and Rail has got to be kicking himself for not scouting his own main base. This is some Bronze League Heroes nonsense right here, Grant.
Yeah, I've seen this. I can recall the last time I saw this, I believe, there may have been some others that I've seen, but to memory, Dignitas Bling lost to this. My UK countryman many years ago, and I couldn't tell you who against. I couldn't tell you the map. I do nothing. But that's the last time I remember seeing a pro with a pylon in his base, and it not being scouted. So any damage that Rail managed to do in the early game is reversed. You can see the working count even, army count's even, tech pretty similar, both getting blink, with the Robo being down. I imagine now, okay, so the Robo advantage in terms of Rail, but the Forge is going to be quicker here for SKillous. So really, we're pretty bang even right now.
I agree with you completely. The build's different, as we said at the beginning of the game, different builds, but both players in a good position, in a very winnable position here. I wouldn't say either player has a distinct advantage right now. Worker count exactly the same. Forge finally going down here for Rail, but of course SKillous has already started his +1. He's not chronoing it out yet, I don't believe. Yeah, not chronoing out that +1. He's just getting it straight up, so it won't be way far ahead of his opponent. But +1 could be a big difference maker in this game. Last game we saw, of course, no upgrades on either side because it was a crazy game. And game 1, I think the upgrades were even for most of the game, unless I'm misremembering. This will be our 3rd PvP of the day, Grant. Some of these games are starting to bleed together in my head just a little bit.
They don't they?
They really do. Hey, SKillous grabbing a Robo, though. Nice! All right, 6 gates down total for Rail now in his main base. He's got 2 Immortals on the field, working on number 3 right now. No, he's not, pardon me, his Robo facility empty. Should be working on that 3rd one very soon, but right now I think maybe focusing on getting those gates up to a total of 8 gates. His +1 about 1 upgrade cycle behind, and oh man, SKillous sneaks a couple more Adepts in. Grant, how many Adepts have snuck into bases so far this series? Grant? Grant, I can't hear you, buddy.
I don't have any excuse. So yeah, the Adepts have managed to be very annoying. 3 workers, not the end of the world. Now, I'm a little bit worried still about this Immortal count, because we are seeing a lot, and Rail is so far ahead in his tech right now, but he is behind in upgrades. So it kind of evens out, right? Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, as we've been saying all game, this game so far, very different builds for the players, different compositions, but fairly even, I think. It's going to come down to engagement, positioning, control.
I agree with you completely.
I love it.
Both players have both players do not have blink. So SKillous has blink, Rail does not, but Rail only has 3 stalkers. Oh, actually, neither of them really have stalkers. So blink could be a bit of a wasted upgrade here. in terms of the resources invested into it.
But
Because
defenders,
Zealot Lex is about to finish.
yes, defender's advantage for SKillous should be in his advantage, but Rail with a much larger army supply, and the Warp Prism gonna go down. Oh my God, the Stalkers
So
do
good.
pick off that Warp Prism. What a big win for SKillous there, but he's gonna need every ounce of luck he's got. Shield Battery Overcharge immediately goes down as SKillous tries to engage with this army.
Yeah, I like this from Rail. He took the fight, he baited out the shield battery overcharge, and he's immediately backed off. The problem for him right now is he has no reinforcements because that Prism was flanked and killed, and you can see he's warping in all the way at home. An Archon at home takes like, I don't know, 16 lunar months to get across the map. But we do now have Rail starting to go for it. He's looking for an angle, he's looking for a fight. He does have an Archon advantage for now, though that's very soon to change. Army advantage is so heavily in Rail's favor that if he can find this fight, it will be good. Because look, there are no Immortals for SKillous. He's going to go.
Very difficult army to control for both players here. Got to make sure your charge lots are in front, your Immortals are in the back, your Archons are in the front, your Stalkers are blinking when and where they can. Very difficult to control all these different bits and pieces of your army. A lot of moving parts right now for our Protoss players. No sentries on either side. Oh, there's one sentry out for Rail, no sentries out for SKillous, so we won't be able to get much done. But these Immortals shelling away at their base, going to force an engagement here out of SKillous.
Yeah, and the Archons in the back here for Rail are doing a very, very good job. You can see the Zealot front line here for SKillous has decimated. 20 army supply lead right now for our red Protoss. But SKillous's +2 is 9 seconds away, and it does look like he's going to be able to get that. He just made a great move with some distraction stalkers.
Yeah, those Stalkers sneaking around, being guerrilla fighters behind enemy lines, trying to pick off the Warp Prism. The Warp Prism this time was protected, and he's going to be here to reinforce. Shield Battery Overcharge not available in this game, and it looks like the Immortals in the backside, the Zealots in the front. The army control so much better for Rail that time, but the army supplies getting much closer because that +2 for SKillous is really showing its value.
These Archons in the front here for SKillous are doing a wonderful, wonderful job. There is a battery here to reinforce now, finally, once again for Rail. Rail's army supply is 41 to 20. The fight is suddenly changing. The Nexus will go down, and all of a sudden, it's just falling apart here for SKillous, and I think he's in a lot of trouble.
The army positioning for Rail was so good there. We talked about it just before the fight happened, but you've got to have all those pieces and parts in the exact correct places for that fight to go well, and Rail just absolutely pulled it off. He started from a position of power in that fight to begin with, and now that he's able to reinforce from the front lines, I'm really worried for SKillous right now. Shield Battery Overcharge just becoming available on that Nexus, but it barely doesn't have enough energy. There, it should be fine, but there's no battery there anyway, and with the Immortals in the back and the Warp Prism here to juggle Archons, I think SKillous is in Rail is in a really nice position. Probes pulled off the map, but it doesn't matter. Even if Rail loses everything here, he's still going to be in an advantageous position economically. So he's retreating, but very cautiously. The Archon's almost dead from SKillous.
Yeah, the Archons will finally go down. Oh, don't pull that many workers into 2 Archons. You can see that number rise, and